Hi guys and welcome to Thrustzone.com. This is Mohit Soni. What you're looking at is the 2025 Tata Tiago EV that has been facelifted, and the facelift is pretty much similar to what it is been in the past, which has been fantastic as always in one way or the other. But Tata isn't stopping at all. This is, I think, the second facelift for this car, and the last facelift was in early 2020. Obviously, everybody remembers that time with this because that was just before March 2020, and we were all at the event for the facelifted version of a lot of Tata cars. That's when the Tata Tiago was also seen. Now we have the facelift again, and now we have an EV also, and this is what it is. What is the facelift all about? Well, let me quickly tell you, because on the outside it is pretty much what it is. It has been only the front end has changed dramatically. You get new set of headlamps, grille, and the lower half of the bumper is different, and it is quintessential Tata EV specific because you get those vents over there. Surprisingly no fog lamps, but there is LED DRLs here, which is actually quite brilliant. New set of steel wheels, which look quite different on this car. Let me show it to you from that side. You've got the dual tone to a certain extent because the mirrors are black. You've got the EV badging here. The 14-inch steel wheels look pretty much like alloys from a distance. Coming at the back, you get the same almond shape tail lamps, the new Tiago EV badging, the new Tata logo, and you've got a button here. The camera is here, the sensor is here. You will get one of them on the base variant. That is the kind of boot you have, which is pretty spacious for a car of this size. And what you get down is cover basically, and now you get a tire puncture repair kit instead of a space saver or anything like that. So that's that. And pretty much the silhouette remains the same. This new copper color looks quite brilliant. You've got this nice spoiler here. I'm sure it works really well because it seems to be very specifically kept here. So I'm sure it works in terms of aerodynamics. Let's sit in the back. It's been a while that we sat in the back of the Tiago. Behind my own driving position, 511. Good knee room, very good leg room. Under thigh support is also quite good, but of course knee room is just limited, but for the car of this size it's actually quite good. Headroom is also good enough. It is good enough for 3 people, small, let's say average sized people. 3 people can sit at the back. The seat scope, as you can see, it's quite big, so that is why the under thigh support is also quite brilliant. You've got decent amount of space in the door pads, and here as well you've got your speaker here, which is quite good. Overall, a very good rare seat experience for a car of this size. Keyless entry and go, that's actually quite brilliant. Seat adjustment, yeah, that's the start stop button. This is a Tiago EV, so we know that all EVs are getting a lot of features. And look at this, the big Safari, Harrier, Nexon steering wheel now makes it to the Tiago EV, which is immediately uplifting the whole cabin experience altogether. And you get this nice piano black finish here, similar AC controls as before, similar storage here and here, and similar very large glove box, which is always brilliant. And it is cooled as well, which is good, but not illuminated. The AC in true Tata tradition works really well, and this is the big part. This is what gives the Tata Tiago a big edge. That big screen that we saw on the bigger cars has made it to the Tiago EV as well. Somebody's taking some really bold decisions at Tata, and that's one of the reasons why this top end variant cost almost 11 lakh rupees ex showroom. Since it's an EV, I think everything included should just cost 12 lakh rupees on road, and which is very good value for money, considering you get a really nice steering wheel with cruise control. Of course, a very good sound system on offer. This screen, as we know, is good enough in terms of touch response. Graphics, fonts, colors are brilliant. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto is here wirelessly, and you've got, don't worry, you don't have ADAS here yet. I'm sure Tata might put it 3-4 years later. And yeah, you've got tons of features here that you can easily use. There is Wi-Fi and hotspot as well. Then you go inside, you can see quick settings has lights. You've got the LED DRLs and everything that also are adjustable from here. You've got the notification screen. You've got parking sensors, of course, at the back. Apart from that, it's pretty much what it is. Surprisingly, I think this is the only EV that does not get the arcade feature. I think it should have had gotten. It's a software thing after all. This is the button for your lock unlock of the charging port, but to open the flap, the knob is still here in a very old school way. Something that can take you by surprise, so you should know already about it if you're planning to buy this car. Look at the front seat scope, it's actually quite big, so this is a very comfortable seat. I find myself to be very comfortable. You'll see me driving and how it doesn't look out of out of place, even with a big rider like me driving this car. 12-volt socket here, that means you can charge multiple items. Space is here as well, and manual handbrake. The new dial has been fixed dramatically, but as you can see, it is now quite quick, and but it actually responds to all of the drive modes. If you use it like how I'm doing right now, quite calmly and patiently, it will work wonders. There is no delay now, so that is an important part that has been fixed. But if you're going to do things like this or like this, again it's going to jump. And the light here in daylight is actually a little bit let's say not that bright, but I think in the night it should not be a problem at all, and that's the important part. That's the reason why it gets the light. Region mode buttons are here, which are always welcome. No paddle shifters buttons here directly. Of course, this car cannot get paddle shifters. Everything is on a budget, but look at the quality. The plastics feel good enough for a car of this size. Fit finish again can be better, so certain panel gaps can be better, and the infamous glove box panel gap is fixed to a very large extent, which is again a great thing to see that Tata is constantly improving. You've got the IRVM here, you've got the mic here, you've got your light here, which is quite good. I think, yeah, that's what the interior is like. And let's I think show you what the instrument cluster is like. You can control everything from here, and there is not much apart from what you see, so that's it. That's what the cabin is like. A big thumbs up for what the Tata Tiago was and has been till date. It's a cabin that is doesn't feel cheap, doesn't feel like a small car, and it certainly doesn't feel like a small car while driving as well. So let's get into that and let me tell you all about it. So guys, we're out driving the Tata Tiago EV for the year 2025, and how is it like to ride? Well, I've always been a big fan of how the Tiago drives in every single powertrain, be it the petrol, be it the erstwhile diesel, be it the CNG or this particular EV. It doesn't feel like a small car, and with this new big steering here, it definitely feels like you are driving something that is quite big enough. At the same time, the maneuverability of the car is so high that you just have a very unique experience with this car. This of course is not a direct, I don't think it's a direct lift from the Harrier or the Safari, but it feels big enough for this car, and this also sort of adds to the experience. That is my first let's say a first analysis of what this car is like to drive. We all know this is a 24 kilowatt battery making 75 PS, 111 Newton meters, does 180 kilometers of charge on a full does 180 kilometers of range in just one full charge. That depends. If you have a 3.3 kilowatt charger, it will do it in let's say 8 hours, but if it's a 7.2, it will do it in 3 hours. So that's also a brilliant number to have. So in terms of charging as well as in terms of range, I think this is a very good number. 180 kilometers in Mumbai means that you can literally do all 4 sides of Mumbai and come back home and then charge it again. I've done that last time. I have almost done it again this time as well, and very happy to report that it's a fantastic experience to be because I say fantastic not because it's sporty or it's anything like that. I say fantastic because this time it's just so easy to live with on a daily basis. It's unbelievably smooth. It's not a problem at all. The convenience level is very high, and this is something just aids in that relaxing feel that is very surprisingly not seen in small cars easily, until unless they are an EV like this. So this is something that I am enjoying quite a lot, and it's going to be it's going to be a fight from Tata Motors to get it back for a long period of time, and I'm really looking forward to that this time around. And it's got instant acceleration, it's got a drive mode, it's got an S mode, and I'm just again happy to report while driving as well. I like to tell you that this knob has been fixed, so taking U-turns and doing all of that, which a very small car does most of the time, this is now much better than before. But again, this is something that I would love to see replaced with a proper gear lever instead of a knob, because there is still that one bit that isn't very ideal for a car this of this type and size to have something like this. It is very premium. There is no denying that as well. It's just that it can be slow at times. You just flip it and it might come into S from D, or if you are trying to put it in neutral, you'll put it into reverse, because it's fast, it's very clicky, and everything just works really well. But in a heat of in the heat of moment, there can be something that can go wrong, and that is why I am sort of asking Tata Motors to put a gear lever directly next time. It's not a problem anymore, I can assure you that every bit. So apart from that, in terms of driving, I see the brakes still continue to be the same, so you have to heavily rely on regen, because the brakes just don't feel very confidence inspiring if you're driving hard and fast. You will have to rely on the regen, which works really well, and it's just that the brakes don't really inspire confidence while driving fast. Most of the time they're also fine. It's the regen and the braking that you will have to rely on to get this car to a halt if you're doing a 100 or 110 or something like that at higher speeds. Steering feel and feedback is good enough. Of course, I told you what the steering really makes me feel like while driving, and very happy to see this steering. At the same time, Tata steerings have always been a talking point, because the last steering that I was talking about was the steering which was extremely round and very small, and this is suddenly so big. So there is always there's this debate and discussion around what the Tiago has always been about and what the Tata Motors steerings in their cars have been about. Really enjoy the brisk acceleration in D mode. In S mode, it feels even more alive, and it moves ahead quite quickly, and definitely feel that you're getting that extra power and performance, so that's great. Needless to say, the most important part, the handling part, is that the ride quality is just brilliant. Our roads, at least in Mumbai, are very, very inconsistent. I won't say they're bad anymore, they're just inconsistent in terms of patching, in terms of how exactly this one is getting off concrete over the previous tarmac roads. There's always this gap. All of that the Tata Tiago EV here takes it really well. I'm very impressed on how it's able to do at such a low price, in a car like this. Tata hasn't skipped a lot when it comes to getting the handling, the ride, everything right. Okay, so this is a really bad patch, and this feels like a car from a segment above. A car like this would just be flopping around everywhere and making a lot of noise. This does not. I am again telling you, this is one of the reasons why this doesn't feel like a small car at all. Very impressed with what is on offer. I've already told you on the inside and outside what it's like. At 11.5 lakh rupees for this top end variant, it is really good value for money. There's no denying that. Of course, there is competition, but I think Tiago has just impressed quite a lot. Like every single powertrain has impressed. The EV just impresses quite a lot. I have charging very close by to me, and I was very happy to charge it multiple times and drive it quite a lot, and that also further for me elevates the experience of having an EV. I don't have to go to a fast charging, which is becoming a little bit expensive, and it's the home charging that makes the ride experience quite brilliant and goes very light on the pocket, and that is what the Tiago is like. There is competition. There is good competition, and there is very different competition from MG's Comet and Citroen EC3, and they are formidable in one way or the other. But Tiago's conventional look, a hatchback that makes a lot of sense. A hatchback always appeals to a conservative family really well. So it's going to be a decision that is going to be taken very quickly, and a Tiago EV can come to your home. And when it does, for you, if you're watching this and if you're buying this, it will be a great decision, because I just I'm pretty much all praises about this car, and it can be of course a little bit better here and there, but overall a solid 8.5 out of 10. I'm very impressed with what the Tiago has become in its latest facelift. It has blown me away. I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time in the next video. Until then, goodbye.